Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Rick with Rick's Toy Room. I am back. I wanted to do a updated video for the WATA video game grading services. So earlier today, I had posted a video of the unboxing for the three games that we'd sent out to WATA to get graded. We had purchased from eBay sealed copies of Halo Combat Evolved Game of the Year editions. One with a foil cover, one with a non-foil cover, one from 2001, one from 2004, or excuse me, 2002, not 2001, 2002, 2004, and then once we received those from eBay, took them to the local Tampa Bay Comic-Con that was this year. Steve Downs and Jen Taylor were there. We had gotten autographs on a bunch of other Halo merch, the games being one of them, to add to a cool video game display that we'd put together. Again, videos in the links. And once we had it autographed, then we sent it out to WATA to be graded, and they came back today. Well, I want to kind of go over the reason why I chose WATA for the purpose of the grading, as well as just kind of talk about their overall process, the game, etc. So, there's the game. There are the autographs. Steve Downs, Jen Taylor, came back at a 9.8 A plus rating for the Y seal on the game. These cases though are super drawn to dog hair. I gotta get this thing back in the display fast. So yeah, let's talk about that. So after getting the games, getting them autographed, I started searching who would be the best company to do the grading. Now, prior to this year, WATA had these really weird cases where they kind of came out on the edges like this. They had the one strip bar in the back. This whole section was wide open, and the game was just had the grade label towards the back. Wasn't a real big fan of that design. I was very I don't know. It just kind of looked weird to me. Like, you look at CBCS, CGC for comic books. It's all one very square, flat grade. You look at AFA when they do action figures. It's a square box with the grade. Depending on how you want it, they can do the grade way up top. They can build the grade into the side of the edge. All their boxes, all the graders seem to have very just really clean, nice designs. And then you have WATA, and they try to do something different. So I wasn't really a big fan of that. Then what I did was I got on Google and I started looking for, who's in the video game grading business. So WATA obviously is the first and oldest. You have, excuse me. CGC is just now starting to get into video games. CBCS has AFA has their branch of video game grading. And so I started looking at prices, and I started Googling, got on eBay and was like, whose products sell with the highest value of the grade? Because if you've been into the grading game at all, you know that certain companies absolutely hold their weight when it comes to quality, when it comes to not grading bootlegs, etc. And then you have their companies that are just, they'll grade anything you pay them for. They'll basically let you buy a grade. So I was really worried about that, right? I wanted to find somebody very trustworthy. CGC, obviously, huge in the market when it comes to autograph submissions. And then AFA, obviously, again, been in the business for a while. They're very, very trustworthy. But here's the thing. AFA and CGC will not grade autographs. If you have an autograph on the game with their services, they will actually knock you down for this, which is really odd to me because you can get graded and remarked comics through CGC, get the yellow witness label, and it doesn't deflect from your grade whatsoever. But on the video games, they don't offer that service. And I called a couple of the CGC reps and authorized witnesses, and they said they could witness it, but it would be a waste of my money because CGC wouldn't give us the yellow label on the video games, which I think's, again, really weird. But so went back and forth and got a hold of WATA, and WATA's like, we can grade it as long as it's been, certified by a respectable company. So I was like, well, will you grade JSA certification? They're like, absolutely. We've done JSA all the time. So went to the Comic-Con, got it signed, got the JSA certification for it, submitted to WATA. Now, the other problem I had with WATA is they've been in the news a lot for, there's people claiming bad business practices through some of their games, inflating prices at like Weatherby's, etc. for high-end market, vintage NES games, etc. Huge scandal behind that right now. And the other problem I had with WATA was that their turnaround times. Everybody I talked to, turnaround times, 6 months to a year, like just ridiculous. And I got on WATA's website after talking to them about the actual game, and I was like, so what's the deal, right? Like, what are we, if you'll grade with the JSA, what's the turnaround time? And they offered a speed turnaround for 20 days to send your game in, get it graded, get it back. And I was like, if you guys can really do this in 20 days, that's faster than CGC normally does for their comic books. And, sorry, I keep playing with the holographic logo. I'm a sucker for holograms, and it's got all kinds of cool things going on it. But I was like, if you can do it in 20 days, that's pretty much faster turnaround than most comic books, action figures, etc. Let's do it. I mean, the cost was negligible. I mean, it was, I think, $20 per game extra to send it in and get the speed grading done for it. So, sent it in, filled out all the paperwork on a Saturday, paid the bill on Monday, packaged the games, shipped them in, and when we did it, the JSA sticker on the back, yes, is basically certification. But we wanted to send in the JSA certification cards too to say, you can look it up. It's got the JSA certification. The sticker's legit. Have at it. But I wanted the card back because I wanted the card back to just like have it with the game, even though it's got the JSA cert, even though WATA graded it, confirmed the autographs. I wanted the cert card back just because, kind of a completist thing. And I'll tell you, I mean, they held up to their bargain, man. 20 days. Now, there is something to know about WATA. When you ship to them, most of these companies, like CGC's right down the road in Sarasota. By down the road, I mean it's a few hours away. CGC has their own facilities. You ship all your submissions right to the warehouse. They take care of it from there. When I've done AFA goes direct to their warehouse. But WATA actually has basically a post office box. And when you ship to them, they don't pick the games up immediately. Like, I had this thing certified. I wanted to make sure it got there. This thing sat in the post office's possession probably for 5 days before WATA actually went and picked it up, which kind of bothers me. I'm concerned with that because, I do a good job, did a really good job packaging these, make sure they didn't get beat up, banged up, etc. And sent them over to WATA, assuming they would just go to their warehouse. They would sit on a shelf somewhere until they cracked them and, started the process. But to think that they were like basically sitting in a post office back room, getting other boxes of crap stacked on top of them for 5 days, kicked around, piles moved around, the potential to be lost. I mean, let's be honest, United States Postal Service has not been kind to... Sorry, I just like to show this off. It's really, really sexy. Post office has not been kind to losing packages or finding packages, and I was super worried about, super worried about the whole thing. So about 5 days in, I contacted WATA. I was like, yo, what's the deal, man? Like, you guys have been sitting on this thing for 5 days, or at least it's at the post office for 5 days. Why do you not have possession? And the customer care rep was really cool about it. They contacted me back and said, look, it's kind of our thing. We make a run once a week. We pick them up, bring them back, and then we start working on them. Okay, I get that. By the time I got the email back, they had already picked up the package. They've already checked the box in. They had basically put it in the system, verified they received the games, verified they had the JSA autographs. So really cool from there. It kind of sat in the system for about, probably about 3-4 days. And then they started the grading process. Within about I want to say about 12 days from that, I finally got notification that the grading process was done. It was in post-grading. So at that point, I got photos of all the games. They sent me photos of the front, each side, the top, the bottom, the back, the whole 9 yards. So you get the full photos there, but you still don't get the grade at that point. You do. So once it made post-grading, you have an option to look at the grades. And like I said in my other video, I couldn't help but click it to see what they got. I was really, really curious. And granted, it kind of ruins the surprise. But I just had to know. So I got the grades early. I gave Dusty the choice to wait or to get his grade. He did his grade. He wanted to know his too. Now, we knew his Halo 2 was going to get a 9.6 at least, just for the fact that it was already a 9.6. So we broke it out of its case, got it signed, shipped it in. And what I've learned with CGC is if you decide to crack one of these open, now normally, okay, let's clarify something. With CGC or with any of the other companies that want to do what's called a reholder, let's say this gets a crack in it, something happens, scratched up, and you manhandle it too much and you want to get it reholdered, you normally have to do it with the representative of the company witnessing, and they'll normally crack it for you. They'll crack it, they'll charge you a fee, or you ship them the busted one, they'll charge you the fee, and then they'll crack it open. But because we knew we were going to get it signed, there's no way to get someone from WATA to do the cracking. So we broke it open, we got on Google, found a quick, easy way to bust them open without damaging the game. Busted it open. But what I learned from like CGC, etc., was if you keep the original label and send it with the game, then typically, as long as nothing's happened from the time that you cracked it, whatever, you'll get at least that grade back, or at most that grade back. Now, there's always a risk for doing that, right? You crack one of these open, you risk something happening and your grade taking a ding and dropping down. I've done it with comic books. Luckily, I've never lost a grade yet. But it was a risk with his Halo 2. They accepted it. They regraded it. Now, I don't, because again, we cracked it open. They had to re-witness it. They revalidated. They re-looked at it. They regraded it. Still decided it was a 9.6. And he got his Halo 2 at 9.6. His Halo 1 was really interesting. It was probably as in good a condition as mine. But yet, I mean, there's like one spot on the box, like I showed in the other video. And they dinged him on it, and it got a 9.4, which is kind of a shock to me. I mean, I thought his was in really, really good shape, and I expected at least a 9.6. But, it is what it is. So let's get into the actual... I want to talk about WATA's new case again for a second. I will say that I am a little disappointed in the... Oh, now that I say that, though, that may not be the case. Oh, yeah, it's the... So they double seal these games, and you can see where the game is sitting on like a plastic clamshell protector inside the acrylic. But there seems to be some like scuffing or scratching on the acrylic, and I don't know if I can get it in this shot or not. Doesn't look like it. Oh, maybe right there you can kind of see it. There's like an entire line running down the case where it's just kind of all scuffed up. Actually, it's on this side. Sorry. With the right lighting, you can see it, but it's kind of scuffed up on the case here. The front side of the new case, there is, you see it right there. It kind of looks like a crack. It looks like just an extra piece of plastic that had melted when they sealed and heated it. It's actually on the other side too. So I think it's just part of the assembly process where some of the plastic actually kind of like melted over when they were sealing this, or the glue, because you normally use like an acrylic glue on these and then you heat it up. And I think that's what it is. There's just some glue residue on the inside of the case. It's a little annoying. It's not terrible. Oh, that's not the plastic. So that is... So they're inside covers, because I can see it on the front of mine now too. The inside plastic covers have some scuffing on the inside plastic. That's what it is. It's not the acrylic. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's not too bad, because I figured these inside plastic pieces, they probably really do get the squat I mean, they probably have them built overseas, and they get them in millions and millions amount of games that they do. I keep picking at the edge of this case. The rounded corner seems to be like it's almost like its own clamshell. So it's like a front piece that's designed, and it's got like this little lip that's driving me nuts on this side. Other than that, man, I can't really complain. That, like I said, I do really like these cases. When I first took it out of the box and when I was first examining it underneath the light, I saw this here and freaked out. I was like, oh no, it's got a crack in it already. That's just the plastic clamshells that they use for the game. I mean, I'm not hating on the new case at all. There are definitely some, for lack of better terms, maybe some little QA things that are kind of annoying to me. You can't really see them. Like, you're just holding the game, you're like, oh, that's pretty solid. You get it in really, really bright light, you can see a bunch of imperfections. But, I mean, I'm not going to complain for a 9.2 game, or 9.8, excuse me, a 9.8 game with an A+ seal, with the signatures authenticated. I mean, I'm in awe. Like, I'm super happy to have this back. Now, I'm not going to lie. I've decided, I've already put this up on eBay. I did not put it up for cheap. I've seen copies of Halo 2 unsigned with the same grade go for $5,000. So I've put this up, and I'm not going to lie to my people. You will find it. It is listed for $8,000. It has a buy it now of $12,000. If you've got that kind of coin and you want to buy what is essentially the key piece, holy grail of my Halo display, I'll sell it to you. I'm not even going to question it. I will sell it to you. I have, if it doesn't sell, you know what? It would be fun just to see if someone out there would buy it. But if not, I'm going to put it right back until it gets paid for. The top shelf of my Detloff. I've got the green tone light going, so I switched from the bright white to the green to give like everything in the case that nice Master Chief green. Dusty's case is set up with like the energized sword, like a blue. So it's got this really cool, like light, cool blue tint to everything in his display. I went with the green. I may switch it back to the white later. I don't know, but it's bad. I mean, this is bad. I love it. So that's my overview and process and everything that happened going through WATA, all the things. So just know that if you ship to WATA, if you send out for grading, that your item will end up in the post office hands for probably a few days until WATA gets there to pick it up. It's okay. Don't freak out. It's safe. And they are absolutely dead on, like I said, to their 20-day time period. I did have a problem getting the package back from WATA, only for the fact that when both WATA and CGC send the returned graded items, they go back to the shipper, the shipping address that you put in. It does require a signature at that address. You cannot modify the package and ship it elsewhere. You can't say, hey, hold it at, the Dollar General, or hold it at the FedEx office. I'll come get it after work. That's not possible. So if you decide that you're doing CGC or WATA or any of the grading services, they will not allow you to redirect that package, and there's nothing to do about it. And if you order through FedEx, be home early. If they say 10 o'clock, you better be waiting at your door at 8 a.m. because both times that they've tried to deliver, they showed up almost an hour early. I damn near helped the guy out of his truck today to get this box, because after they screwed me on Tuesday and the hurricane on Wednesday, I was so worried that this thing was going to be damaged or missing that, I mean, I'm sitting at my office, I'm staring right out the window. As soon as I saw that FedEx truck, man, I darted out around, went outside, ran up to the end of the porch, raining and all, and I'm like, let me sign for my box. The guy kind of laughed because I looked like a dog chasing an ice cream truck, but you see why? Do you see why? That's a 9.8. Anyhow, all right, guys. I always have fun doing these videos. I love to hear your comments. If you guys have got experience with WATA, or if you have experience with any of the other companies, authenticating your autographs for your grading, let me know. This weekend is Fanboy Expo. I am going for the last 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle autographs. I'm going for Brian Tachi and Robbie Wrist as Michelangelo, as Mikey. That's why I had Mikey Wrist. Robbie Wrist, the voice of Michelangelo. Brian Tachi, the voice of Leonardo. I'm going to go get their autographs. They're going to finish up the Turtles photo. I'm going to finish up the 1989 Topps trading cards, the single photos of those characters. I'm going to have those autographs. Then I'm going to send an entire shipment of Donatello, Leonardo, and Michelangelo back over to PSA to get authenticated and to get graded. And then when they come back, I'm going to do an entire Turtles Topps trading card autograph up on the wall next to my completed photo. I may even send the photo to PSA to be graded. So we'll just see what all that's going to run me. But this weekend, the last of the Turtles, I will have the entire cast of TMNT, core cast of Turtles autographs. I've already got Raph. I've already got Donnie. Leo and Mikey's next. I've got April. We're going to do this. So, all right, guys. As always, we'll get at you. Leave some comments. I'm going to link up some of the other videos. And, yeah, I'll see you the next trip. Later.